Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on. We saw a nice 5% correction from that 108.4 to roughly the low 103 range. That's pretty standard stuff, folks. The Asian markets opened up, took some profits. Now we're kind of averaging ourselves out of this previous resistance turn support. So as I mentioned previously, this 103.5 is a round number, is tentatively a support level for us. We've tested it twice here, roughly 2 times here, and we can see it's holding so far so good. So hypothetically, our play out from yesterday continues to hold, and we range bound until we leg up again. Hypothetically, that's a good situation. Between now and then, a lot can happen, though. Also need to recognize, too, that today is the Fed meeting, right? So again, we're going to see Jerome Powell speak here in just roughly an hour or two, depending on when you're watching this video, and that will shift things significantly. So just know, leading into this, I'd never recommend taking any trades. It's usually best to kind of close them out. I sent out an update to our community earlier, just kind of saying, plan to wait until after Fed meeting to take our next set of trades. So kind of recommend that for you if you do. Low leverage / no leverage if you plan to trade into this event. Okay. Congrats though on folks. We took a NAVAC short yesterday at 6 hours. We hit our target. Awesome stuff. We also took a Solana trade as well from a few days ago, secured some profit before it pulled back, adjusted our take profit targets there. And sometimes you got to kind of pull the plug early, folks. But again, a good 20%. I don't mind that at all. So let's take a look here at the back end data, kind of see what's up and go from there and see where we're at. We're going to look at the 12-hour time frame too to kind of identify, but at this point here with the the last 7 days, it kind of gives us a good gauge of where we're at. We can see a lot of liquidation down here as low as 102 to 103 in that little range there. So there's a solid chance we see that area retested just based on liquidation alone. Okay, because again, a lot of folks are heavy there. We got some heavy longs. And what I mean by heavy is when these concentrations are thick and close, it really just implies that people are using a lot of leverage. Okay, basically probably 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50x leverage, possibly higher. But these are likely high leverage trades here. So keep in mind that's not a good sign. That's not a good thing. And that does imply that we may see that $100,000 range retested. I'm loosely spitballing 100,000 because that is just generally our previous support level. Okay, so heaven forbid we come back to that level, we should bounce off 100K or that 99.6. But at this point here, that's kind of what we're looking at there. Nothing out of ordinary, I guess you could say. Let's quickly look at the last 12 hours too. I want to just double check that too, just kind of see if any local liquidation levels have been swept. Pretty much have, but there is definitely a chunk here at 105 to 106. So hypothetically, the price continues a little bit higher. We hit that 105 threshold. It could continue to run. Just bear in mind, today with the Fed meeting, we're going to see a lot of nonsensical trading, and it's best practice not to trade into that. So you don't necessarily have to do that. You can trade all you want. In fact, we still have a long position open with BNB that is in good shape. That trade is still looking very nice. But outside of that, that's just kind of, that has loose parameters, right? It's probably not going to get wicked out because it's a low leverage trade. But if you have high leverage, it's just a bad idea going into this event. Now, it may just be a kind of a quiet little event. Could be baked into with a simple fact that we pulled back in light of that, and the price could recover quite quickly. So just know that. But when you see the analysis here today, or you can continue to learn here, just recognize that a lot of that back end data, that fundamental catalyst will definitely change things a lot. Anyways, liquidation delta is getting closer to equilibrium. This is good. Kind of just drawing dead here in the sense where we're just kind of averaging out, waiting for the news to come, and then we'll see what happens next. But from a technical standpoint, there's a lot of things we can extract here today, such as key level supports and resistances, which we'll talk about. But you got to recognize that when stuff hits the fan, we're going to see some volatility here later today, in all likelihood. Now, when we take a look here, we can zoom in. We can see open interest here lately, 105 roughly, and 104.3. So 104.3 and 105 is kind of that little range where people are adding to their position here. We have previously a higher level at about 105 as well. So I'm speculating 105 might be the new resistance based on that. Let's take a look here at the front end here, kind of see what's going on. Daily time frame, folks, again, as per usual, not much really to note here. We rejected off 70 in the RSI. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to continue tremendously lower, but it does imply we have a resistance in that range, which again is at 108.4 level, that all-time high for Bitcoin. We can see money flow index is pulling back, stochastic's drawing dead, and MACD is not really converging any longer. Looks like it wants to diverge. So these are some bearish signs we're seeing on the daily time frame. We've also lost our ascending trend line here. That's going to be easier to note on the 4-hour time frame, but for right now, while we're above all moving averages, we're starting to see a bit of a divergence. And I wouldn't be surprised if we come back down to this next little area here, this 1013 mark. If you can see there, there's a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. We couldn't, basically 8 out of 10 days, we couldn't pass that level. And once we did, we haven't retested it yet. So my speculation is we're going to see that price action get retested there. So anyways, I'll update our playout chart, of course. I'm going to post that on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. If you're not familiar, it's available here for you. But the general consensus here is that the daily time frame isn't fantastic. It's kind of starting to shift its momentum. We're now officially under the 20-day SMA. As you can see, the price, boom, pulled down, performing a bearish backtest of that ascending type of trend line and likelihood of further downside. That's usually how this starts. That's also why flag patterns are formed too, or sorry, not necessarily a flag, but this could even be a pennant. Again, I'm just kind of loosely drawing out some patterns on the charts. You don't want to take this with a grain of salt, but the truth is this is starting to fulfill or create a bearish type of setting. And now that we've lost that 20-day SMA, if the 50 doesn't hold, further downside should be expected. Take a look at the RSI. We're our last line of defense here, holding at 50 on the RSI. Money flow below it, not generally a great sign. I get the question a lot, MFI above or below the RSI, what's important? In this case here, this implies bearish divergence because you can see there's more money flowing away from the coin, essentially selling. And that's telling us that even though people feel like it's still a good value, there's not enough money or sustainability to hold this price point, and it's probably going to go lower. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the price continue a little higher, fake out to the downside. We can see MACD is diverging, stochastic is swinging up here. But generally speaking, this is not like a favorable situation. It's sort of a 50-50 shot right now in that sense, whereas the price action is kind of, kind of showing us that we're in decent shape. We're just not in great shape, if that makes sense. So honestly, we lose this 103 range. 103.5 is a close approximate. I do foresee the 100 to 101.5 level as the next step. Hourly time frame, let's quickly note here, we are now officially below the cloud, lagging spans, free and clear conversion lines below the baseline. So honestly, if it wasn't for this Fed meeting here today, I'd probably want to lean more towards taking a short position with Bitcoin here soon. Just based on how the price action is behaving, it's not looking great. This is all confirming factors letting us know further downside makes sense. Okay? Again, not a guarantee, of course, but the last time we were underneath the cloud, it's been a while, but the last time we were underneath the cloud, we were at this 99K range, and then we inevitably pulled down from top to bottom about 6% to roughly the $94,000 area. Okay, so that just gives you perspective here. Again, the Ichimoku cloud is not like a guarantee, but it certainly helps us understand that we're on the wrong side of tracks right now, and that taking along at this exact moment doesn't make a ton of sense, mainly because the Fed meeting's coming up here in just a short while. It's at 12 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, and then, I guess that'd be Mountain Time rather, and then 2:30 Eastern, that's probably the easiest one to remember, is going to be the actual meeting. Okay, so we got the minutes or whatever, the actual results come out at 2, and then 2:30 is the meeting. That's when the volatility can start to occur. So just be mindful that's going to happen. Anyways, at this point here, I think it's probably best just to hang out on the sidelines and wait. But me personally, I would say a short around the 105K range seems sensible once everything kind of starts to die off. At this exact moment, it could totally change and invalidate in just a couple of hours if, of course, the Fed meeting goes well or as planned. But between now and then, we never truly know. Okay, I hope I imparted you with some positive, good knowledge. It's not always feel good, but it is it's straightforward nonetheless. Be on the lookout for our playout chart coming here shortly. I'll update the charts here. And I just want to say thanks again for being an amazing part of my life. We'll look forward to working with you. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is the site. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.